Hello, how are you all? And we have an important topic to talk about, which is 1040 extension. How many times do I get asked, should I file extension? Would that get me in more trouble? And is it good for me? So those questions are very typical related to extension. So I want to kind of cover just a matter of extension. When you ended up thinking you need to do extension, I do not want you to wonder. I want you to know the answer. It is not that hard. So we talk about pros and cons of 1040 extension. That really applies to other kind of businesses tax extension as well. So let's talk about it, right? All right, let's get going. We only have 30 minutes on Tuesdays. It's very tight, but I want to cover everything. I have to brag about ourselves. Our firm received BBB, Better Business Bureau's Torch Award for Ethics. And just imagine what kind of company would receive this kind of award. So we're pretty proud of ourselves. And my name is Ying, and I am the CEO of Community CPA. And I also truly believe only when you are doing things properly, only when you understand rules and regulations thoroughly, and you would last long. And if you don't do that, and if you want to take a shortcut and do a fraudulent return 1 year, get by, and you will get caught. And I want to say to folks that it's not like I have not seen people doing that. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. So what's worth it is to do it right, do it smartly, and you don't need to pay tips to IRS. They don't even give you compliment when you pay tips, folks. You just need to do it right? And I'm on National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel. That's a federal advisory committee. I was just in that meeting. And then here's my email address and anything related to IRS. We want to make IRS the taxpayer first organization, but feedbacks and your experience and your thoughts are important. And IRS don't have a way to knock on your door, ask you, hey, do you have recommendation? IRS says that we're going to select people in the field, have them be our channel to bring the issues up. So that's why such a committee exists. I'm not any special, but I'm special in the way that I know your issue. If you have anything that can improve IRS, you bring it to me and I will see it through. I'll make sure that get to the committee and it get to be studied and improved, right? And here, no responsibility disclaimer, because I am just like you. And I can't say that I don't make mistake. But when I make mistake, I will correct myself. But when I'm making it, I don't know it, then I am making it, right? So for that reason, you don't want to rely on anything on the internet without engaging a professional. If you come to me with an issue that I do not know for sure, I would study. I would spend my time making sure I give you the right answer. Every professional people will do that for you, but you cannot rely on what's on the internet just because they're not made for you in specific. They're made for the general public. That's why. All right, let's talk about extension. Can I get more time for my taxes? Yes, you can file extension to get more time for your taxes. And let me just quickly say to you, the taxes that's due on March 15, when you file extension, it will go to September 15. And you may say that, what if I file extension, IRS don't accept it? No, it is automatic extension. That means it goes automatically to September 15. But 1040, 1120, those business and the personal return, they're due on April 18 this year. And they are due after you file extension, they're due in October 15. So you have your summer. Okay, now your summer is gone. And if you're gonna lay all your tax issues in the summer, that's fine. And my thing is that you want to deal with your tax issue when the winter is cold. We don't have much to do anyway, so we deal with taxes. That's why we started our real tax planning in November. In November, and a lot of our clients, majority of our business clients are doing tax planning. That's where we already laid out the whole year. And we don't really rush into extension because we knew we're going to do extension, not because we didn't finish the taxes, is because we want to have that extension to do certain things after that. So Yes, extension will extend your time. And if you owe taxes though, and when you file extension, you need to get your taxes paid. This is why I say extension is not a mean for you to just push out your taxes, not to think about it. Extension is where that you need to come up with your result, estimated result, then you pay your tax dues at extension time. Don't wait until October to pay. Okay, so if you owe taxes and you did not file that, you did not pay that with extension, you are facing 3 common penalties. So the first one is failure, the 2 common penalty. The failure to file would not happen because you filed extension, right? So you're good, you avoid 1 penalty. But you would have failure to pay because you didn't pay, and you would also have failure to pay proper estimated tax charges as well. So in order to not have those kind of noises on your dollars, and you want to just pay whatever that was estimated by your tax professionals. So what we actually do is when we have clients coming in last minute, folks. I mean, when I was younger, I used to think that, why are people last minute? Are they crazy? Why can't they just plan that a little earlier? You know, with age, I start to think of this way. And I'm thankful for people who are last minute. You know why? Because they're last minute to do anything, and they're doing it really fast. And that increases the efficiency, don't you think so? And also the people who are last minute, they're last minute for everything. So that means they're busy and doing other stuff. And now they're coming to do taxes with you. So it's a lifestyle, folks. So if you have a lifestyle of a last minute, you got a person in me to understand you. I am not a last minute person, but I'll tell you that the person who is closest to me, my husband, he is the biggest last minute person on earth. So if I can put up with him for almost 30 years, then you can tell that I have a good understanding of last minute people. So if you're last minute, you're coming in, we still do estimate for you. We still figure out how much of taxes you might owe, and we make you pay. But of course, if you say, Ying, the reason I didn't file taxes is because I don't have money to pay. I want to make sure my stock market coming back a little bit, I have cash so I can pay. And I understand that. So as long as you have a reason for not paying right away, as long as you know you're going to be charged with interest and a penalty, and you're willing to pay that at the extended time, you are a good citizen. It's not a problem. And you know, anything that money can resolve, it is not a problem. Have you heard of that? And I know it is a big thing. And when we don't have money and people talk like that, we want to kick them, right? But for IRS, you're not going to be putting in jail just because you filed extension, did not make tax payment. So you're fine. But of course, our advice is you make your tax payment, right? So why people delay 1040? Is it only because they are last minute people? No. And people delay taxes for a very good reason. There are a lot of reasons for people to delay taxes. I'll tell you one reason right now. And the people delay taxes because they probably are not getting the K1, right? How many people you know already could not get their K1 on time? What are they going to do? They're going to wait, so they have to file extension. But we also have a group of business owners that we take care of them. They file extension too. Why? Because when they file extension, we have a chance to work on their book more. We have a chance to download data from IRS to match the data for them before they even file their tax return. So folks, there are a lot of benefit for filing extension, not because people are just last minute procrastinators, not because they just didn't want to face their taxes. They have a mental blockage on their tax return. I have seen people with mental blockage on tax return because we have fixed people with 15 years tax return behind them and not filed, but then coming in to file. So, well, you know, it's part of living, right? It's part of variety of life and people with different experience. There's nothing to be ashamed and nothing to be argued. And as long as IRS is not on your throat, and you have community CPA behind you, you have your other tax professional behind you, will help you anytime you're ready. Life is good, right? All right, so examples of people who file delay, because let me just read this one, because this is a very sophisticated one, but it's an interesting one. It will make an impression on you. So you will know that, oh, in those cases, I filed extension. So if you close your business in 2021 and you want to finish up your business balance sheet first before filing 1040, and for example, if you have a C Corp and you closed it in 2021 and your business is worth 100,000 and you closed it and zeroed out your equity, and the section 1244 of the tax code allow the losses from the sales of share of small domestic corporation to be deducted as ordinary losses instead of a capital loss, and up to maximum 50K and 100K for the general profit. And I mean, what I am giving to you is here just to say that don't imagine your taxes. Oh, it's a C Corp. I close C Corp has nothing to do with your 1040, with my 1040. Very, very wrong. It did not have anything to do with your 1040 when you were running the business. That's possible, but it's not possible when you close it. It doesn't have anything to do with your 1040. So every business closing has something to do with your 1040. You cannot close your business without knowing what had happened to your 1040. So that is one good example. And of course, this year, there's so many things in the limbo. And we have people that don't even know whether they got their pandemic payment or not. And the IRS say they got it. They think they don't got it. They want to call IRS. They waited for 3.5 hours, still not getting through. They can't file. They want to know what's going on, right? So if you end up in that situation, just file extension. And pros to file extension that you already, if you know you will be late anyway, file extension will reduce late penalty. So that we already said that. Extra time to make your elections, and extended 3-year statutory limitation, and get your tax refund that are owned. So what happened is when you are filing extension, and for some folks, and that they would actually have more time to work their tax return. Let's say if you have a company or if you have a retirement plan and where you're still waiting for actuarial scientists to give you the number that you can contribute to your cash balance plan. And at this time for 2021, and you can't file your taxes right now, you need to wait until that number comes out. Then you can file your corporation tax properly. Then your K1 can be accurate. So there's so many things that related, anything that related to your 1040, disallow you to file that accurately. Don't file. You really don't need to rush the train. You want to really consider all the options before you file on October 15th. There's rumors going that, oh, if you file extension, you have a less chance to get audited. And right or wrong, okay? So the audit comes from two parts, right? One part, audit is coming from IRS data analysis. The IRS has a D for score. They're doing analysis on all the return that they collected in the whole United States of America. They split people up with geographical difference, with income difference, with whatever difference. I don't know whether they do that with race different, but they can do data analysis. Then they come up with a program to say that which part of taxes they want to focus on. For example, 3 years ago, IRS had an initiative to focus on 1065. So in that process, IRS announced it. We're going to focus on 1065. Then the next thing we know it, we had 2 people coming in with 1065 audit. And of course, both of the 2 people are actually our client. So we prepared their tax return. They're our clients for a long time. So both of them passed the audit without any problem. But I can just say to you that once they have those initiatives, they go in groups, right? So you will be audited for that reason. And then the other reason you'll be audited is your tax return just really not done correctly. For example, you have a Schedule C, and all of your expenses are 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 15,000. You think any computers would not recognize those are made up numbers. It doesn't even need to be eyeballs anymore. It's just computer. The computer will say that these are all rounded number, looks wrong. And then you will be spit out and you'll be looked at. And if you got a lot of things that IRS think is interested, and then you'll be audited. So there you go. When you file extension, you give yourself time to fix those kind of things. And you don't want to put out your tax return with the numbers that you know it is just all rounded number. Not good, okay? And improve accuracy of your return. All right. Now, how your business might give you reason to delay 1040. And if you start a business, make decision on what kind of tax structures you want to be, that would delay your 1040. And if you start a business and you put in a whole bunch of assets of your own into the business, that give you a reason to evaluate your asset and do your taxes differently. That need time. And you need time to change your tax structure so that you can file your 1040 properly, right? So all of that, we're talking about the connection between your business to your 1040, major life changes, okay, in 2021. Get divorced, get married. I mean, there is a statistical data I was reading, and it's saying that in 2020 and 2021 are the 2 years that the divorce rate was going up. So I was talking about, I thought it was funny because, you know, obviously people work at home and the couples probably facing each other a lot more because they're all be locked up in the home. And if they don't fight and if they don't love each other, then they fight. If they fight, they got divorced. And it makes sense, right? Makes sense to us. So with those changes in life, or more babies were born. Do you know that 2021, we had more babies than ever? And in recent years, why? Because 2020, couples all locked up at home. So here, and you got those changes. And now you maybe have a 17 years old, turn to 17 in 2021, then you know the tax changed. You know, they can get child tax credit this year. So all of these changes, and you want to make sure that you look at it carefully before you rush for filing. And I had a client rushed in filing the tax return with Liberty Tax or whatever with some chain store, and now found out it's $211,000 mistakes. Okay, so it's not a small mistakes. I mean, why are you rushing? So make sure that you do give yourself the right to file extension. Data match with the IRS record, that's a big deal. And a computerized system really require you to do that. And our firm has been doing data match for our client probably 20 years ago. We started doing that by just simply picking up the phone and calling IRS and get the data from them for our customer, for our client. But now computer technology is better and we can subscribe to the third party and get access to it. And we can get those information to us a lot quicker, a lot easier. But the idea is you want to know what you have with the record that government has on you. So that would help you to do your tax return properly. Am I correct? You can just imagine that is the case, right? And now, and cons of filing an extension. Okay, of course, you know, you can file extension, but there is a disadvantage of filing extension. The biggest disadvantage, you know what that is when you are drafting, when we finish drafting your return, you're gonna get $30,000 back as tax refund, but because you file extension, because you're doing all these extra works that you're doing, and you're just gonna look at your refund and not being able to get it. Yeah, that is the drawback. You can't have your cash flow right away when you file extension. So you have to file your taxes before you get your cash flow back. So that is where really, and you know that what's gonna happen to your taxes, and you're just gonna sit waiting for your refund. That would be the biggest drawback, I would say, among all the other things, right? Otherwise, I would consider filing extension. It's just all good. So why, unless you're filing extension not knowing your result, If you're filing extension, you already got your tax drafted and there is no drawback for filing extension. So folks, with this talk, and what do you think? And thinking about filing extension, if you are doing that, and just know that we can absolutely file extension for you. You can also file extension for yourself. And with the extension, just keep a good record because it's automatic extension. Sometimes when you made a mistake, you think you mailed it out, but IRS never really had it in their file. When you file later, IRS will give you all these penalties saying that you didn't file extension. But as long as you have your own record, you have your own mailing proof, then you can go back to IRS, say, hey, I did file, this is my mailing proof. It is automatic extension, just means that IRS don't tell you, hey, I got your extension, hey, you're good. No, they don't say that. And they just have in their record, but you don't know whether they have it or not. So make sure you keep a good record on your side. But when we file extension, we of course does it electronically. So we have electronic data stamp. And we know exactly when it went to where and when it's landed with IRS. So we have those kind of tracking record. But if you do it yourself, make sure you do that service for yourself, okay? And otherwise, IRS can easily come back. The data can drop. The data can drop between us and the IRS, and the signal may not be strong and it didn't go through. Anything can happen, but as long as you have proof, you'll be good. All right. So I think we're right here around 30 minutes, and I want to say goodbye to all of you. And remember, you can always check with us to see what we have in store for next webinar, and Catherine at communitycpa.com, and you can email her. She manages this thing. And if you think I did a good job, I'll tell you that at least 50% of that is on Catherine. And she will tell me what I need to talk about. She'll prep me for the content. I do forget things, and she'll make sure I don't. And then here, and our office is open 6 days a week. We're not just open tax season 6 days a week. We open 6 days a week all year round because a lot of our clients only have time on Saturdays. So that's why we're open. And we'll talk to you again. And goodbye. And I hope you like my hairstyle today. It's new. Okay, bye-bye.